Hello, all of you IFers and keto and sixth gear people, and you want to be careful when you say IFers there. Andrew Anderson here, and I'm the guy that put this together a while ago, and just want to tell you, I put this together basically to document my own journey. After I watched this guy, because one, I found out, I've known him for quite a while, that he's super smart, he's in super great shape, and he's got his shit together when it comes to being in shape, his diet, his family, and his how he handles his businesses. So if you want to be successful, all you have to do is model people that have already stepped through the way. So I've already been healthy, and I've tried ketosis and the Atkins diets and everything else, and I had all these parts and pieces. And when I watched this video, everything became congruent, and it was like the light bulbs went off. So I made that decision, and it didn't even, once you have enough information, there are no decisions to make. I watched the video, I knew immediately, there was no thought processes going on that I wanted to do that, and that was February 7th of last year, 2016. This, you might be watching this a couple years from now. And I haven't looked back ever since. And it was because I wanted to get into sixth gear here. And the sixth gear was a feeling that I felt after I tried doing IF. It was only, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 days. I have in my head it was like I started on Sunday, so I really didn't quote unquote do it. I went to bed and didn't eat anything late that night, and I think I technically started at midnight. And then I went and I made it 16 or 18 hours the next day. And that following day, I felt freaking wonderful. And that was the sixth gear. I had more energy. It was like I drank 5 cups of coffee without being jittery and all weird, you know. My body felt great. And then, I went through some periods where I was feeling a little bit funky, but part of that is because when you start burning off the fat, there's a lot of toxins in there. And that's not woo-woo. That's true. Your fat can store, there's fat soluble toxins versus water soluble ones that when you start burning off this fat, they come out. And so it's important when you're doing this. I know it doesn't make quite a bit of sense, but you need to drink plenty of water, because as the toxins get burned off, as you burn off the fat, they will come out of the fat, and they'll get in your bloodstream. So you got to make sure you drink water, because you can get flu-like symptoms doing this. So anyway, what I wanted to tell you was the information that I post here, I really do my best to source it and check it out against everything that I've seen. My background, I've always been a science geek. I've been to physics, and I paid attention in chemistry class and meteorology and these other things. So I don't like woo-woo shit. I don't. I don't want to hear about, the energy and this stuff. I want to quantify it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but if you're going to tell me that something's going to work, I want to know the scientific reasons behind it, or at least give me an idea to it. It doesn't have to be spelled out, because a lot of the science for this stuff, because it's never been studied as greatly as, let's say, carbohydrates, because the potato farmers gave them a couple $1 million, the grain farmers gave them a couple $1 million to come out with a study that says, hey, eating 500 grams of carbohydrates for you every day is great. And the problem with that is you see all the fat people in the U.S. and in the civilized nations. And this is nothing new. This has been going on since the 1800s, and actually the early 1800s, when they found out that if you fed pigs enough sugar and molasses, it killed them. Okay? And I think I read a story on Benjamin Franklin, and God knows where it is. I went on my hard drives. But they actually did a study about this. And it might have been him, but one of his people that he'd trained in the early 1800s. So they've known about this for a long, long time. And so anyway, what I wanted to talk to you is about, just when you're starting this stuff out, don't make it any harder than you have to. And I want to talk about the information I'm going to post. I'm going to show you about some incongruencies here. So Dr. Axe, which is seems like a decent guy. He's actually out of Nashville here with me. He's got some information on MCT oil, which I'm going to post. And it's cool. But the bottom line is, while MCT oils are good, we've also since gone way beyond this and found out that C8 oil is even better. Okay? So if you try MCT oil, or if you've heard about it, you want to try it, skip it. Spend the money, go with C8 oil. You're going to get better results. It's like the more refined version of MCT oil. And I don't want to get off too much on a tangent. So what I'm saying is, whether I post Mercola or Dr. Axe or some of these other ones, if they go off on a tangent, don't take everything that they say as gold. If I post an article, it's that one article and most of the information in there. Because while he's talking about the benefits of MCT oil and everything else, we've got another story here. Is how many carbs do you need? And do you want to know what he says? In general, how many grams of carbs a day should consume is probably going to be between 500 and 800 calories from carbohydrates. That's 150 to 200 grams of carbohydrates a day. This is flat out wrong based on everything I've ever read about this. It jacks up your glycemic index. It does all kinds of horrible things to you. And then they talk about fad diets like Atkins. Okay, well, the fad diet part of it may not have the amount of protein that you have, but if you follow the Atkins diet versus this one where you got that many carbs, you're going to lose weight and at least get you in ketosis. So you're going to be able to control your blood sugar. Okay, so on this guy is just flat wrong. So you've got to be careful that you don't buy whatever he's selling. His food is medicine. He's got all kinds of products, and I'm not knocking him. And he's got some really good stuff, but about half of it, just like Mercola, is flat out dead wrong. So what we're trying to do here is I'm going to do my best to give you the best information, the latest and greatest, and won't steer you wrong on anything knowingly, okay? And if you've got some scientific proof or some really good new studies about things, I'd love to hear it. And more importantly, just post your stories. We've gotten a lot of women in here, and I know that as a rule, in the groups that I've been involved with, they tend not to be as boisterous as us guys. In private, they'll talk a lot, but when it comes out to public, they don't. So I might encourage you, if you have your stories, please share them. You never know who you're going to help get their life together and get into sixth gear because of intermittent fasting and the stories that you share. So anyway, this is Andrew Anderson. This is Friday here. And this is, like I said before, this is just a hobby for me. I'm not making $1 million off this. And so I'm just doing this for myself. And now I feel responsibility for everybody that's joined lately. And it's growing by leaps and bounds. And I'll do my best to make sure that the information I post is the best that I can find. And I'll spend some time doing that because I am trying to hack this myself and do the least amount of effort and get the greatest amount of results. So anyway, that's it. Andrew Anderson here. If you want to get started, follow this video. That's all you need. Do it. You need to make it any more complicated than that, and you can tweak things as you go. So anyway, hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to get back to work here, and I will chat with you later. And go IF, keto, and sixth gear. Take care. Bye-bye.